extra 5 users, 6 users.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at Italy, Italy's more pronounced. They've got 2,600 before synchronization, I think 3,500 after. So what the system's done is it's actually just created any new accounts. So I'll have a look at, let's expand this, and I'm going to add another filter in. Is created yesterday, which is when we ran this. So these are the accounts that have been created by the DEMA connector. Interestingly, there looks like there's one for you there, Akuku. So it's found a second account for you in Google, and it's created that account in ServiceNow.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so that's the first the first result we can see is any new accounts will be created in ServiceNow. Now let's look at the mapping. So let me open one up. Okay, and this is the information that has been mapped over from Google and CloudPage. So we've got the job title. The domain is automatically set to your domain and should be automatically set to your language and your time zone. And the other information I can see is there's a business phone number and a mobile phone has been set. There's only one other field in Google you could have set, Akuku, which is location. And you see right down the bottom there, there is a location field now added onto CloudPage. But it's not a field that a user can add. You have to add it in via the CloudPage console.
I think it's manager as well, Martin.
Yes, manager is actually not populated on this record.
How about department?
Department won't, because that's not in Google.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so let's just have a look, see if we have any managers populated.
You don't for the Japanese data, but you certainly.
There we are. There's one. There's one. Yeah. So you can see that record has a manager populated in Google.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what else do we show? Now, the records will update. So if you, we could actually try this for when you go live at Akuku. But if you change the CloudPage record for this user, it will now update. So tomorrow, after the next overnight synchronization, if you add a job title or manager, it will synchronize. So that will also update that record.
Okay.
So once we're synchronized, it will continue to update the records. Okay, and that is it really. It's very simple. We just set the flag to synchronize. The system will then overnight look at the records in production. It will look at the records in the connector in Google, and it will add those new records via the connector, and then make any update changes that you need from Google to ServiceNow. So let me just
ask you a question.
Sure.
If we change the status, users' account status on Google, for example, like suspend one of the user or delete one of the user, it will affect on the next day.
Okay, so suspend does come over. Let me show you the raw data that we process so you can see the fields. Just load this. And okay, so there's your main record. Okay, so this is the raw Google data. So the description field, if it's used, we can check whether that's the problem with description field is it different countries use it in different ways, Ikuku.
Mhm.
So I'll actually check where description goes to, but we've got that data we can see coming from Google. We've got your department. I'll check that as well. Now, if it doesn't synchronize today, that may be changes we can add. So we've got the organisation, we have the last name, first name, we have your email address, we have your job title, we have the addresses. So let me load your record in users, because this system has done a the test system has done a synchronization. So let me just find you. And where's your main record? That one. Okay, so I'm going to look at the history, and these are the fields that the connector has updated for your record. So it's found in Google you have a manager, and it's set that now in ServiceNow. Phone numbers have been set. Your address has been set to the address text field. Department, that's a DEMA issue, that won't show. Japan shows. So yes, so we have some of the information that's come over. So where are we? So we've got domain, organization, phone number, business phone. Now, the status was the question you asked me.
Yes.
We see find it. There is a status field, so it does do suspended, I believe. I'll validate that with you. So suspended, and your other question is what happens if it's deleted?
It says false on the top right, suspended.
Yes, but what I need to check is whether that's a field that's active.
Oh.
So this is the raw data, Ikuku. I need to check whether that field is used or not. Okay, so I have 4 questions then on the data. Does description go anywhere? And I don't think it does. Department, I don't think goes anywhere, but could do. Suspended and deleted, which are the statuses I will check on. In fact, we may be able to check now. Let's have a look. So if we look for okay, so this is a list of accounts which are suspended. So let's find that one in our user base. Okay, that one may not have been created. I'll check after the call at Ikuku. So we have the suspended flag. If it looks like it's used by Google, because we have some where they're set to true. If it's not on the connector, then that's certainly some work we could add. So if the account is suspended in Google, there is no deletion flag, I believe. So deleted would need to be you would need a process for that.
You mean like if we delete the accounts? Well,
correct.
The status on the ServiceNow will be probably inactive.
We wouldn't ever see the Google account being deleted.
Okay, because I was just wondering if when we delete the accounts and then if it synchronizes with the ServiceNow, I was wondering what
happens.
Yeah, what happens on the ticket.
Okay, I will confirm. I believe what happens is nothing. So you would have to change your process. I believe what happens is the account is deleted in Google. That is not pushed through the interface. So we would never know. So you would need a process then to delete in Google and also then manually delete in parallel in ServiceNow. But I will confirm that with you. It's a question that Ping asked.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good. Okay. Any more questions on the good questions? Thank you, Cuckoo. Any more questions from yourself on the Japan side? Okay. Patrick, is it clear how the process works?
Yes. It would run every night, or this synchronization?
No, because Google is so large, and also Google doesn't have any trigger capability. So what we have to do is it takes 2 hours to run. It's a very big comparison. We have to compare every single account. So it's set to run at about midnight European time every 24 hours. So it would be next day. So if you create an account in Google today, it will be available tomorrow.
Yes, so it runs every night?
Correct, correct.
Oh, that's my question. Okay, yes. Okay, so it seems interesting. We are not on DIMA today, here in Veolia France.
Okay.
But it works also?
Yeah, so this is just Google.
Yes.
So if you are on DIMA, that would be a different presentation, a different discussion. So this is a step you can do before you go to DIMA.
Okay. And,
you don't need to be on DIMA to do this.
Okay. And so just as we saw, an update on Google is would update the ServiceNow values.
Correct.
So that seems good to me. But we must do the correspondence between the address and the sites, perhaps.
Yeah, so sites is a field we do support. That was added for UK. Let me show you how that works. On a Cloud Page account, just find me. Okay, now these fields here are text. They come into the ServiceNow account, but they're only text. What you actually need is another field that's hidden. So there's a field that's hidden called location. Now the location field can be set by. Do you have access to the Cloud Page console?
Yes.
Yeah. In the Cloud Page console, you can see some extra fields, including Office. And there's another one called location, which is your site. If you set that value, it will import into the record, and it imports into the location field. I can find it. Where's the user record? So there's users. Okay, that will import into this field here.
Yes, but this field is a location with a name here.
Yes, so it could be it'll be a text name. So you might have one example that I know that the UK are using is that's the site name, the location name.
Yes.
So you have the name comes through from Google, but then in ServiceNow you can add the address in the location table. Can you see underneath you've got Hampshire Waste Services Limited, Poles Lane, Otterbourne. So the word Otterbourne is the site name, the location name that comes from Google. And then ServiceNow has a record to add the rest of the address. So that's how you would manage your sites and your addresses for the user. You use the location field.
Yes, but in France we have a table of locations.
Yes, so you load those to ServiceNow.
So I must input those values in Google?
No, sorry, yes. So you load the full table into ServiceNow, all the addresses.
Yes.
But what you need to do is load the location name into Google
Yes.
on Cloud Page against the account.
Yes, that's my problem today because in Google we don't choose this and it's not displayed for everybody.
No, that's okay. Now UK had a small they had a request for the Deus team. They said, we have thousands of records. How do we do this? So the Deus team gave them a one-off upload template for Google.
Mm-hmm.
So what the UK did is they loaded all of their email addresses in one column, the site name in the second column, and Deus did a one-off update of Google for them. So you don't need to do all of them. Deus will do it as a batch.
Yes, but today it is the same for. I'm using HR data in order to update users' data in ServiceNow today.
Okay.
So I think it's not interesting for me to update Google in order to put the location and then to get the location from Google.
Because you have it already.
Yes, that's my problem today. Today I need to update a lot of values on ServiceNow and Google. So the question for me is the process, what I have to do.
What do you have to do? Yes, I agree. If you have location in ServiceNow already, stay with that. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I see your point. There's no value in adding data to Google just to get it back into ServiceNow. If it's already in ServiceNow, that's fine.
Okay, I will work on it.
Yeah.
Hello, I have just a few more questions, please.
Sure.
The first question is if there is a Google account which not exists on ServiceNow, it will be created in ServiceNow. That's how it works.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and if there is an information in ServiceNow in the data of the user, it will erase the information and it will be fulfilled by the information which is in Google.
Yes, it's
correct.
Okay, so we have two problems. The first one is for the generic addresses.
Yes.
It will be creating some users which are not users, but just they are not with us.
Okay, so you have a Google account that's a generic address account.
Okay.
Okay.
And the second one is that some information will be lost, and which I mean that the information in the Google account are not
sure.
They are not true. Yeah.
Yes.
We have irrelevant information in Google accounts, and sometimes the information in ServiceNow are more
accurate. Yeah.
More accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd advise there on the two problems. The first one, we just advise you ignore it. What will happen is, yes, you will have the address account from Google created as a ServiceNow account, but it doesn't matter. It's only a requester account, so no one will ever log in on ServiceNow. It's not using a license, and there's no way to access it. So that's not a problem. It will create a duplicate copy in ServiceNow, yes, but it actually doesn't matter. We've actually got some. If we look at I can show you some from the other countries. Okay, can you see there? There's a load of accounts we don't really need. But it doesn't matter. We can just ignore them in ServiceNow. They don't take up a license. You've even got there's some French ones there. So that was the first point, is I wouldn't worry about where you don't need a service account. Just let the system synchronize everything.
Okay.
Your second point is solved. Again, the UK hit this problem. So the problem is your data in ServiceNow is better than the data in Google.
Yes.
If you turn the sync on, then it will overwrite the good with bad. So what UK did is they did, again, a one-off export. So they exported data from ServiceNow, pushed it to Deus, who updated the Google account. So the Google account then has a copy of the good fields from ServiceNow. So then you are in a position where it doesn't, you're good to start. And remember, it only works on the fields that come down from Google. So for example, if you have data set in your department field and there's no data in Google, it'll stay in ServiceNow. It'll only overwrite the fields that come from the Google sync. So company, for example, is not overwritten. I think business phone and home phone are. So you could do that. You could do a one-off export of the good data from ServiceNow to Google, and then turn on the connector so you always get the good data down.
Okay, it's clear. Just one more question is about when the synchronization happens. Do you and a Google account is created? Do you mention that in a field, which means
Yes.
created automatically, something like that?
Correct. So there's a way. So you can do this. This is how you should check your accounts. So it's a simple filter. Sorry, who was talking? What domain were you from?
I'm from France, SAD, with Patrick.
Okay, so let me use Italy data because I didn't run this for France yesterday. But what you would do is you would say created today, because the batch runs at 1 a.m. I'm going to say yesterday because that's when I run the batch, and you'll see the created by starts with Dima. Right account, there we are. So if you use that filter, those are the accounts that are created.
Okay.
Okay, now for you, you just need to put the domain limit on there. So domain is, let's go for Italy. For you, it would be domain is VWAS. So you can see we've got 900 records created by the connector yesterday from Italy.
Okay.
And if I look at one of these records in the history of the record, these are all things you can do. In the history, you can see the fields that the connector has populated.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can tell, and we can also do that for updates. We can see where there are updates. So let me just change my query, and I can say show me records that were updated yesterday by Dima in the Italy domain. There weren't any because I'm on a test system, but if you had any updates, you would see those in there as well. Updated. So we had 422 updates. So these are accounts that already existed, and there was some difference in the Google data. So what did this update? So this one has found change of name. You see there's a change of case.
Okay.
The phone number has been added. the manager has been changed. The phone number. Yeah, this is one of your points, isn't it? Is we had a good phone number before.
Yes.
It's actually gone to a bad phone number because that's what's in Google.
Yes, and what about the alias in the mail addresses?
You only support the primary email address.
Yes.
So the email address is the key.
Okay.
So it doesn't support name changes.
Because just if you look, you changed the address just now in the history.
Let me go back. No, there's the organisation's been added, Patrick.
You should be mentioned.
Yes, yes, it's on the second entry. Yes. You see, the address is not written the same way.
The address. I don't have the address here.
Email address.
Email address.
Oh, the email address. Sorry. Yes. Yes. So it's the same, but it's the case is different. There's a capital AB.
Yes. Yes. But my question was if we update the name of an address or the primary address, would it change?
Let me check, Patrick. It may be. I know the DEMA one allows you to change the email address. So, for example, if a woman marries and changes the name, the DEMA sync connector does change the email address. I'll check on the Google one.
Yes, because sometimes we have companies that change their extension.
Okay.
In order for them to be more accurate and to tell everybody they work only for one city. For example, in Lille, we have a company named Ileo. So the name that we use all days is Ileo, even if an alias is Veolia.com. Veolia.com.
Okay. Yes, it's. I'll check, Patrick, because the main key is the Google key.
Yes.
It's quite possible that we do support change of email address. I will check that.
I want to know that too as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. So we'll add that to the list of questions. Okay. Fine. Good. Any more questions?
Yeah. Sorry. One request and one question. Sorry, is it possible to have a list which field will be synchronized with Google?
Yes, we were discussing this yesterday, so we will issue a knowledge base article with those fields on a Cuckoo.
Okay. And then one question is just to make sure synchronization is only from Google to ServiceNow, not from ServiceNow to Google.
Correct.
Only one way?
Correct, only one way.
Okay, so it's better not to update on ServiceNow information, but update Cloud Pages instead.
Correct, but only for those fields that exist in Google.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, that it's a key thing. You will need to swap to that mode. Now, if you have a very strong set of data locally, you would need to consider whether this is that's best to stay there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I will issue the list of fields at Cuckoo, and then we're going to make a modification. It's not in the system yet, but the idea is the field would change color if it's come from Google, and it will be locked. So it will be very easy to see. But today we need to give you a list of the fields.
Okay.
So to know that job title has come from Google and is synchronized it will be on the knowledge base article.
All right.
Yes, but we must change our level 1 support in order to do this, because they are used to change in ServiceNow directly. If we do so, we must tell them to change in Google. And
correct.
So it's a change of process.
Absolutely. So the technical part is really small. The big change for UK has been on the service desk, Patrick. It's a change of process. So the starter process changes, but also the lever process needs to change as well.
Okay.
Okay. Now, just some words on that is we have a trigger being built for Visa to do some interesting work on new account creation. It's being built. It's not live yet, but we're, I think, entering testing soon. What it adds is when the Google account is created and the overnight synchronization runs, ServiceNow is set to send the manager an email. And the email will say, your new employee has started, their account has been created. Please click on this link to go to the service catalog to finish their onboarding process. And the link takes them into the service portal where the manager can then finish off the onboarding process. They can add any data like what is the location locally. They can be asked if they want a laptop. So that's really very interesting, because then we could swap this from a data synchronization solution to actually something that's very valuable in our onboarding process. So I think we probably need to demonstrate that at the COP once it's live, perhaps, thinking about it. We'll do that at the next COP, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. So, Ikuku, any more questions, any more thoughts?
I'm okay.
Okay, good. Patrick, your side?
It's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I've got 5 questions, 1 action. So I've got to confirm to you all, can you change the email? What happens with description and departments? What happens with suspended? What happens with deleted? And then to provide a list of the fields in the knowledge base article that are synchronized. Okay, good. So I'll issue that information. If you want to have a think on if you'd like to go live and when, if you do want to go live, we just follow the same process. We would have a 15-minute turn-on session one day, and then a 1-hour review of your data the next day. And if you're happy, we would then turn it on for the day after. Okay, so very, very quick to go live, but as you've mentioned, Patrick, it's more thinking around the process around this, I think.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, okay. Good, okay. Great, well, thank you for attending. Hopefully it was useful.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day all.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you, Martin.
Bye.
Take care. All right, bye-bye now.